Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, because right now Bitcoin is bouncing exactly from our level of support and is now already running into this short-term level of resistance sitting at about 67.2k. And this is in fact a very important level to break, because if we take a look at the Fibonacci levels here, you can see that we have the 0.618 Fibonacci level sitting exactly at about that 67.2k level. So if you see something like this in the price action trading above, flipping it into a level of support, then yes, likely we are going higher. For example, reaching up to these previous lows right here, which would be roughly at 69,000 US dollars. Although coming back to these support and resistance levels right here, of course, we do have this big level of resistance sitting from 68.5k all the way up to 70,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. So that is important to take into consideration. And in the case that we really do get a rejection from here, or we actually reach up to this level of resistance and then get a rejection down, either way, if we see lower price action where we can expect to get some support for Bitcoin is right here in this big level from 66 all the way down to 65,000 US dollars. And if we actually get a very bearish move to the downside here, the next big level of support below that is from 62.4k all the way down to 60,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. Although I do think for now, especially because Bitcoin has been dumping quite quickly here, and we have the RSI momentum indicator on the 4-hour time frame reaching deep into oversold territories, typically indicating that there is limited room to the downside for now, at least until we see the RSI reset a little bit. So the way the RSI actually resets is either by the price just trading sideways, in which case you'll see something kind of like this, where the RSI slowly resets, or we can get a bit of bullish momentum, and in that case the RSI will reset more quickly and can even go above that 50 level. So moving on with the Bitcoin analysis here on the 4-hour time frame. Recently, I was calling out this ascending triangle pattern. And as I said in my most recent videos, so long as we are trading above the point of the breakout, technically Bitcoin is still targeting the 75k price level. However, as soon as we traded below the point of the breakout, which was at about 68.8k, the pattern was invalidated, meaning that we are now no longer targeting that 75k price target. And yes, even though we are seeing a little bit of a bounce right here, we completely have to forget about this pattern because it is no longer relevant after we got confirmed candle closes below that 68.8k level. And zooming out to the 1-day time frame here for Bitcoin, you can see that we also have now broken down from this ascending triangle pattern on the 1-day time frame, which does look pretty bearish here, as I exactly warned about in my recent videos, saying yes, some patterns are looking very bullish. And of course, every crypto YouTuber you're following is very bullish. But so long as we don't see this breakout, in my opinion, it is too soon to get too bullish here. And what do we see right here? We see a big push to the downside, which is also exactly what I was talking about with this descending channel right here. Because I said so long as we don't confirm a breakout back above this descending channel, there is no reason to be really bullish here, because more likely is actually a further consolidation in this pattern. And yes, the low of this pattern right here is actually 57,000 US dollars. So no, I'm not calling for that right now, but I am saying that is completely a possibility here, so long as we don't break out to the upside from this descending channel. Either way, so long as we don't break this downtrend on the RSI momentum indicator, it doesn't really matter, because technically the momentum is still down, exactly like I was talking about in my recent videos. We need to first break this downtrend on the RSI momentum indicator to really be expecting any more bullish price action here. Because, for example, if you see something like this in the RSI momentum indicator, it would probably look something like this in the actual price action for Bitcoin. And then if you just get another rejection from there, it will just look like another rejection or a little bit of a fake out from the top of this range once again. So that's why personally, before I get very bullish again, I do want to see a break of that RSI downtrend. And that is one of the most important things that I'm looking out for in the over the next couple days to weeks or so. So what do we do now? Because this looks pretty bearish. Some other charts look pretty bearish. The bullish patterns got invalidated. Is it time to sell all of our crypto? Well, in my opinion, no, it is not, because in my opinion, as I said, I am long-term very bullish on crypto. So obviously, I do think we are still in a bull market here. So eventually, I do expect the price to go up and go higher again. Although for now, it looks like we just need to be a little bit more patient. And of course, we do have that CPI data coming out tomorrow, which could really change this entire situation, because literally tomorrow on that news announcement, if it is a bullish outcome, then we can literally see a pump straight back inside this range again, and then eventually still breaking out to the upside from there, right? So for now, I think it is too early to be saying like, okay, the pattern is invalidated and we are no longer getting this breakout to the upside, because tomorrow has a big impact on what is actually happening in the crypto market. And like I said, a bullish result there could really send the price back inside this range, and then this will just have been considered a fake out. I do want to share this Bitcoin liquidation heat map because they tend to give a good idea of what we can expect in the short term here. Because in the case that you don't know, typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity on this chart. And of course, yesterday we took out this big level of liquidity at about 66.4K. And after we took out that liquidity, we basically just chopped around sideways and are now seeing a little bit of bullish momentum. And as you can see right here, most of the liquidity on this 24-hour time frame is to the upside, sitting at 68.8K. So potentially you can see the price get attracted to that level, although you must be aware of this liquidity to the downside as well, as low as about 65.5K. Although zooming out to this 3-day time frame here, it is pretty clear that most of the liquidity is in fact to the upside, sitting as high as 70.3K. So yes, I do still think it is possible that we get attracted to this level sometime soon. Now, of course, if we get some very bearish news tomorrow, then yeah, I think all bets are off and more likely we are going further to the downside. But if we actually get that bullish news, then potentially this could be an interesting price level to try to long up to, because if you see that bullish move, then potentially we could be taking out this level of liquidity right here. So that is something important to pay attention to. One other thing I kind of want to point out here on the 30-minute time frame is actually that we were trading inside this descending channel right here. However, just about an hour or so ago, we actually broke out to the upside from this. So if you were a part of the Road to 1 Million signals group, you would have been aware of this, because I sent out a signal earlier today and took that trade as soon as we broke out to the upside, leading to this nice 18% profit on that trade. And this one I actually closed with a 28% profit as well. So obviously there is some value in being a part of that signals group, and you can join it completely for free simply by joining the Discord server, which you can find the link to with the first link in the description of this video. And once you're verified and in the community here, all you have to do is check out this Trading Signals Access channel, where you can just follow these steps to get access to my trading signals. Now, lastly, for Bitcoin here, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for yesterday, we saw that on Monday, we had a net outflow of about $60 million of Bitcoin that was sold on just Monday. And interestingly, we didn't only see these outflows from the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF. We also saw some other ETFs also being net sellers. Over these last weeks, we have seen nothing but inflows. And if we really start to see these ETFs flip bearish and flip to being net sellers, then all that upwards momentum that we saw recently can literally, and then every single weekday, we are getting massive downwards momentum and selling pressure onto the Bitcoin price. So it is important that we keep an eye on this. This could just be an outlier for now, but if we see the same thing tomorrow and the day after, then potentially we need to get a little bit more bearish in the short term here. Now, one last thing on the daily time frame here. I was talking about this 0.618 Fibonacci level here. And if we take a look at it on the daily time frame, if we get a daily candle close above this level, which is happening in about 4 to 5 hours, that would be ideal to see, because in that case, on the daily time frame, it could just look something like this, where we hold the 0.618 as a level of support and then get a bounce from there. Now taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, where again, recently, a couple of days ago, we tried to get above that 0.786 Fibonacci level at $4,000, did not manage to clear above it, and are now seeing a bit of a pullback with the next Fibonacci level of support sitting at 3330. So potentially we can see a bounce from there. But either way, you really want to see Ethereum hold this as a level of support if the price actually reaches this low, because in the case that it does not, actually flipping it into a level of resistance, well, in that case, the next Fibonacci level of support below that is sitting at 2860 for the price of Ethereum. Although, of course, there are a lot of short-term levels of support between the current price and that Fibonacci level. So let's go take a look at those right now. All right, so zooming into the 4-hour time frame for Ethereum, you can see that right now we are getting a perfect bounce from this level of support that I drew out for you guys from 35.30 all the way down to 34.30. So yes, for now, it looks like Ethereum is holding this as a level of support. But if you see something like this, where Ethereum actually flips it back into a level of resistance, well, in that case, we are likely heading to this next level of support below that, sitting from 32.60 all the way down to 3150. However, if you do see Ethereum trading further to the upside here, well, then we will be running into this next level of short-term resistance from 3650. So this is an important price level to pay attention to, because you can see a rejection from there. Either way, if we do trade above it, we will get some short-term resistance here at about 3,700. But honestly, more likely, if we are seeing bullish momentum, is this next level of resistance from 3,750 up to 3,800 for the price of ETH. So those are some price levels that I'm looking out for. Now taking a look at Solana on the 4-hour time frame, which has just not been having a good time recently. You know, in my last video, I was talking about this 11% move to the downside, which has now been turned into a 15.5% move to the downside, because for now, at least in the immediate short term here, we did not hold this 151 level as a Fibonacci level of support, although this is just on the 4-hour time frame for now. So if you do see Solana closing above this 0.382 Fibonacci level on the daily time frame, then this big move to the downside here will just look like a wick similar to this right here, and then it wouldn't really look too bearish. But either way, if you see something like this where we're trading back up to 151, getting another rejection from there, then it is starting to look dire for Solana, because likely we would be heading down to this 0.236 Fibonacci level for Solana at $138. So it is actually critical that Solana is going to start making some moves sometime soon here, because otherwise it will look extremely bad in the short term. Although, as I say in every video, of course, long term, I am still bullish on Solana, because in my opinion, like I said earlier in the video, I do think we are still in a bull run. So I am expecting Solana to just continue to the upside at some point. But in the short term, it does look a little bit bearish for now. But I would also say same for Ethereum. Just keep an eye on Bitcoin. If you start seeing Bitcoin making moves to the upside, then likely Solana and Ethereum will also follow that move. And quickly for Solana here, taking a look at the support and resistance levels, Solana is right now in this big level of support from 150 all the way down to $140. And if we do not hold this as a level of support, then the next big level of support below that is from 133 all the way down to $125 for the price of Solana. Although I do want to point out here that on the 4-hour time frame, Solana is already in oversold territory. So more likely is that at some point, yes, we can see a little bit of downside first, especially if Bitcoin starts dumping, then yeah, we can just go straight down. But either way, if you see that Bitcoin is kind of stable or even getting some bullish momentum, then we should see Solana get a break from all of that bearish price action, either by getting some choppy sideways price action or even a little bit of bullish momentum here, in order to actually reset that RSI back to around the 50 level before then making its next move either to the upside or to the downside. And if you do see a move to the upside here, a level of short-term resistance Solana will run into is at 155, with above that more short-term resistance at 160. And then lastly here, you have this Fibonacci level that I was talking about earlier at about $163 for the price of SOL. So those are just some price levels that I'm looking out for Solana. Now, like I was talking about earlier, make sure you join the Discord community. It's actually a great place to be a part of. It's a very fun group, as well as a bunch of people that are just sharing their analysis with each other every single day, talking about the news in crypto. So I highly recommend you go check it out. Like I said, it's the first link in the description of this video you're watching right now. Either way, if you do end up joining or not, this has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.